right, day number 4 of the U.S. stock market 2026. Hard to believe that we're actually grinding a little bit higher here today, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it's considered a healthy market when the RSP is down 1% and the Qs are up about 50 basis points. Is it still up 50 basis points? I'm not sure. Yeah, 27 basis points. It's kind of fading a little bit. We'll see what happens. Honestly, whenever the market like plows up high like this, it's good to just let things run before you start to bring out some shorts or anything. But even if it's bringing out any shorts, like, I don't know, there really is no reason to be precedent or trying to go short here or not. I mean, you have the freaking Google is up like 3%. At least I think it's still up 3%. I haven't actually checked the price of Google in a while. Let's see over here. Google is up 2.5%. Amazon is only up 50 basis points. Actually, Amazon was up a lot more earlier. So this is actually pretty interesting price action. Lockheed Martin is down 4%. That is a massive intraday move for Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin does not make big moves like this, but we're going to go a little bit more into the reason why Lockheed Martin is down 6% intraday. The reason why is Blackstone still down? Blackstone's down about 5%. It actually was a lot lower earlier today once Trump released that Truth Social comment. Open Door is only down about 9.5%. But yeah, let's get right into it, guys. I mean, we don't really have much today. I think a lot of the news that has happened in the last couple of days has actually happened in the last couple of days, of course. But I think most of the news has happened in the last couple of days. The market is generally waiting for, of course, the ADP non-farm payrolls on Friday, the unemployment rate on Friday. But more importantly, what's going to happen with these tariffs exactly? Is the Supreme Court going to say that these tariffs are unjust and they're illegal and basically roll back all the tariffs, which means that we have basically no negotiation power with these other countries that we negotiated a little bit higher tariffs on? Or is it going to be a non-event where the market just sees whatever's going to happen and just continues to plow higher, which is usually what it does? So we'll see what happens with that one. We have the news from China this morning saying they're going to halt orders of H200 chips, which, I mean, yeah, that's happened many times. We have I mean, there really isn't news with Google and Amazon, but it is nice to see that these stocks are catching the bid. We're going to dig a little bit more into the margin story for Amazon when it comes to robotics, in addition to the reason why Google is probably plowing higher. And I'll tell you what, it's because that LLM is definitely a lot better than the OpenAI ChatGPT. And Trump is targeting institutional home buying, which I mentioned earlier. We're going to dig a little bit to that one. And finally, additional hits the defensive stocks. Basically, Trump said all of these defensive companies cannot buy back their stock or issue dividends. But we will see if that actually happens. A lot of it is talk, and the market reacts to a lot of talk. But once it finds out that legs are Nuckenberger, then it continues to move on. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at late markets. All right, so let me go ahead and share this screen here. Please don't tell me I'm on mute because I haven't checked in a while. I'm not on mute. I'm good to go. Okay, let's go, guys. Let's go. All right. What is going on, Midwest Cannabis? What is going on, Lena? How are you? What is going on? I don't know what your name is, but I'm definitely not going to be buying any Applied Digital calls. I'm going to stay away from those. Higher my portfolios. A lot of people's portfolios are down today. You have like a lot of random names that have been running pretty hard the last few days that are actually down today. But can you really complain? I mean, unless you're a full port BM&R, you had a great last couple of trading days. What's up, baby? What's up? Lena enters, Midwest Cannabis, Snake. All right, Midwest Cannabis, you're all over this chat. Thank you very much. Is anyone else having lagging issues? Probably not just you. For some reason, the Wi-Fi here is pretty bad. So at least if it's lagging, then you guys are just getting it late and maybe it's not going to lag. Amazon needs to chill. Amazon does need to chill a little bit. I didn't buy those calls back. All right, so I was long Amazon calls and then I sold out of it because I got stopped on it. But it's like, come on, Amazon. Come on. What's going on here? Am I buying anything today? No, I'm not buying anything today. I've been chilling for a little bit, man. I wanted to see some follow through on BM&R or at least crypto after that DAT news event that happened yesterday at the end of the stream. But I mean, they didn't follow through. In fact, they're selling it lower than where it closed yesterday. So I don't know what's going on with that one. But generally speaking, if crypto is down, that's all going to be down. Full board BM&R is dead. That's not what people were saying a couple months ago. All right, a couple months ago when BM&R was $60-$50, they thought that was an opportunity. Here we are today. So you got to be very careful. It's all good, dude. Thank you very much for showing up. The Joseph Anthony. Okay, for some reason, I thought this said the Joseph Carlson show, and I was like, what is that dude doing over here? Like, does it really want to see me? I don't know. Maybe he was here. SoFi tested for new money long. Oh, you know what? Let's actually take a look at some charts here because I have not looked at SoFi in a long time. Oh, look, it's a space continuum. I really need to get a second monitor, but I'm leaving tomorrow, so is it really a point? Oh, wow, Open Door actually came back a little bit. Now, why are they buying up Open Door, but they're not really buying back? Yeah, they're not buying back Blast. That's a bunch of degenerates for you. That's for sure. Lockheed Martin almost breaks 500 bucks. That's insane. That's crazy. I mean, it has been on quite a tear for the last few days here. But yeah, they're really selling Lockheed Martin. They really think that this company is going to go downhill because of these buybacks and dividends. Which, okay, like that's either not going to come through, or it's actually be beneficial for its bottom line later on. But we'll see. Oh man, everything's fading. That sucks. SPY is red on the day, so we are not getting a new all-time high today, unless in the next 37 minutes we do get a we do move back above the what did this open at? This opened at 692. Oh, we have that's not that far away. We'll see what happens. I mean, these institutions just got to sneeze and it'll move back up. The Qs are green today, which is good to see. It is actually nice to see this higher high over here in the Qs. So we have this low made over here. We have a high, and then a little bit scary. We thought this was going to make a lower low, but it did not. Came back up. I would feel a lot better if we got back above 629 on the Qs. But I mean, what can we say? You know, I could easily just do that. We'll see. We'll see. We still haven't broken out of this reverse trend here. And in the long term, guys, we are still in a long-term bull trend. Alibaba is down below the 150s again. So I don't know what this is. I mean, maybe this is a bull flag here, right? You got a little bit of a bull flag. Can I continue this thing? Hold on. What's the character to do this one here? Alt-T, Alt-T. Where's my Alt button and my T? All right, so we got a little bit of a bull flag here. Oh, no, that's my Alt-T. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. Trading View, why you got to do this to me, brother? Why you got to do this to me? All right, so we got a little bit of a bull flag going on here with Alibaba, but this is not a bull flag that I want to see. Ideally, you'd want to see like a bull flag go up like this, but kind of like consolidate up into like a little bit of a triangle here. But this is like, this looks like a trend reversal from this breakneck rally here. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? This could be a back test of these lows over here at Alibaba and then rip back up, but KWeb, yeah, KWeb is down 2%. So I don't know if it's just Alibaba, because KWeb certainly broke down when creating a bull flag. So we really need to see a change of sentiment. ACMR, though, is way different. I mean, I don't know. This company's wild. I don't even know what they do, to be honest. I think I was reading about it like a few years ago, and I just never followed through with it. But that was when it was like 15 bucks. So that's pretty insane. Pinduoduo just not doing good over here. Baidu got a little bit of a bid today. I don't know exactly the reason why, but this one's been pretty strong. This is basically the Google of China we have over here. So let's look at the mega caps. Apple just doing its thing that it usually does, being down every single day. Amazon, of course, fading, doing the best thing that it always does. Google, of course, ripping against all fours. That actually is a good reason to be ripping up. Meta, of course, selling off again. Like, great, that's awesome. And you know, the worst thing is that you're seeing Meta sell off, or you're seeing Microsoft stay green. Like, I never understand that stuff. So we actually had some news from Warner Brothers that they were actually going to reject the offer from Paramount. But I think the way the stock has been moving lately is that it already knows that Netflix is going to buy Paramount for a ridiculous amount of money, which is just, the shareholders just hate that. We had some news about the chip orders here. So Nvidia is actually still green today. It was good to see. Tesla, I thought this thing was going to be higher today after its sell-off yesterday, but I guess not. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, I don't know. This market just kind of looks like it's just chopping up right now. I mean, it made a massive move to the upside in the last few days. So what do things usually do after they make a massive move to the upside or downside? They usually just chop. They don't really do like that continuation or a massive pullback. They usually just chill out for a little bit. Oh, let's look at Nebs there. Let's look at the Nebius. Nebius is down 3%. Of course. You get us a little excited here. And no, they're not going to give it to us. Corv is down as always. Iron is down again. Everything else is just chilling near its highs. Applied Digital. Applied Digital is not that bad of a chart, actually. I'm not longing. I'm not buying anything. Guys, I didn't buy anything today. I didn't buy puts. I didn't buy calls. I didn't buy any of that. I'm not going to do any of that stuff right now. I'd rather just chill, see what happens. Because I think the market needs to figure out what it's going to do. Where is TerraWolf? Okay, just chilling up here. Yeah, so I think the market is just doing what it needs to do, right? Getting the dopamine hits. Like, yeah, the dopamine stuff is good, man. The dopamine hits from the natural dopamine. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. All right, so We have, oh, I'm still sharing my screen. Those are my notes. I'm glad you guys saw my notes. All right, so we have the first thing we're going to go over today, the China to halt H200 orders. I actually wanted to bring this up over here. So it was actually pretty interesting because I thought it was going to be a lot worse when I saw that news. But in fact, it was the complete opposite. All right, so let me share this guy right here. Yeah, so pretty much we had China come out and say that the Chinese government this week reportedly asked some tech companies to temporarily halt plans to buy Nvidia H200 AI chips. And you have this nice picture of Jensen Huang in his $5 billion jacket. Why did he change his jacket to a shiny leather one? I don't know. That's probably like some sort of other thing. But anyways, this is from the information. The information can move the markets, right? That this is a newsletter foundation or article foundation, focuses more in tech. They have the power to move the markets. We don't know where this came from. I don't have an information subscription, but I'm sure the source was somewhat credible. The fact that it actually made it out here. But I posted this chart later. I was like, yeah, this is precisely when the news came out. Like no one believed them. The market didn't believe them. So they're coming back up. But it looks like we faded a little bit. So the market kind of pulled back to where it was when the news actually did release. But does this actually mean something? Probably not. I mean, China has this stuff all the time where they come out and they say like, look, we're not going to buy NVIDIA chips. And then like you turn around, you look at the data and it's like, well, the NVIDIA chips are way better than your chips. So like, of course you need NVIDIA chips, right? Even the H200 chips are better than like the most powerful chip out there. And I'm not being biased. It's true, right? So we'll see what happens to that one. I think the market is kind of like, doesn't really care about this noise because we've seen this happen over and over and over again. We see China say, we don't want these chips. We don't want these chips. And then Alibaba comes out and says, we need these chips. We need these chips. And it's like, who do you believe? Well, you know what? I'm going to believe the people who are actually buying the chips. The government's not buying the chips. The company's buying the chips, right? And when you have the fourth largest or fifth largest hyperscale in the entire world saying they want NVIDIA chips, they're probably going to get them. And at this point, they're probably going to get them legally, which is good to see for NVIDIA's top line growth. And of course, translated to the bottom line. Again, the Chinese revenue is not priced into the NVIDIA earnings, right? I don't know. Actually, it might be priced to the stock. Who knows? But it is not on the last quarterly earnings, and it was not included in the guidance. So if they come out with $20 billion of revenue in the next couple of years, I don't think we're going to see all that this year. I think it might take a little bit of time for that to flow through. That is unaccounted for revenue that was not considered in the guidance. So that's always good news to see. Let's see what's going on. Yo, what's going on, man? How are you? How are you, DRG Ramos? How are you doing? Why is VST down 9%? Energy producers are all down. That's actually pretty interesting. Why is VST down 9%? I'm not sharing the screen yet. I just wanted to check myself. You know what? Actually, let me share the screen. This might be a good thing just to take a look at real quick. All right, so VST, I mean, this has been in a downtrend, right? So you have your lower highs, your lower lows happening here. I would not buy this chart, mostly because it just keeps on trending down. I mean, some people might look at this and they might be like, man, that's a crazy bull flag you got going on here, right? With this one. I mean, it could be, but then you would have bought the bull flag here, and then here, and then here, and then you bought it yesterday because you thought it was breaking out, and it didn't. You're down 9%. Like just wait till it goes up a little bit if you really want to buy this chart. I'm personally not buying that chart. I already got my position set up for 2026, so I'm not looking to add new positions right now. There was a company that I wanted to buy, right? And it ripped my face off because I didn't join in, and that was like right here where I wanted to buy. You guys were on the stream, and I was like, man, I would buy this company, but I'm going to wait for a pullback, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you wait for just a 10% pullback. You get your face ripped off, and you miss a massive 30% rally. I mean, you know, it is what it is. We all miss those, but like, honestly, I'd rather miss something than add something that keeps going down for myself right now. That's just, I don't know. That's just the way that I am. All right. So that was the news for, how is Rubik looking? Hey, good question. Good question, buddy. Good question. How is Rubik looking? I'll tell you how Rubik's looking. Rubik's looking pretty good. All right. Up 2.7%. Now, this is another setup with this bull flag. Get a fake breakout here. It came back down, right? And I don't know if this is breaking out or not, but it's like, I do own this company. I said before that I would not buy a declining chart, but I'm not buying this right now. I just have a position that I've had open for quite some time, so I will hold on to it, right? No calls with rubric, just chilling on the position, seeing what's going to happen. I mean, if I had to look at this chart, right, I'd be like, oh, this looks like a good bull flag, like right here, right? And then it broke down. I'd be like, okay, well, that's a failed bull flag. So right now it looks like it's just consolidating in this massive range, which means that I'm not buying calls in it because there's really nothing happening with it, right? If you look at the volume here, it doesn't really mean it. Like there's nothing happening with the stock. Like, okay, maybe after this volume, it's like, okay, maybe we see something over here. This was obviously after earnings. You're going to see a lot of volume earnings, right? But when you get like these candles right here where there's a lot of volume, right? And there's no earnings around there, that could mean some institutions buying, right? Especially if it's a green day, right? If it was a red day and there was volume out of nowhere, like let's say, for example, this one, okay, well, institutions are selling, right? But you have this day where it's a lot of buying, but at the same time, nothing's really happened since then, but it hasn't really broke down, hasn't really went up, but I think that might take a little bit of time for things to accumulate and then go up. But I'm long rubric. I've been long for some time. I'll probably do like a rubric thesis video at some point. But that is a data security, cybersecurity company. Let me see what else you guys got. Let's see here. Can I look at the ASTS chart? Did I cover silver? I was never short silver. Did I talk about silver? No, I talked about silver yesterday. But I am not short silver. I'm not long silver. And you guys were here, man. I was calling out, this is a bad idea to short this silver. You do not want to short silver right now, because if you short silver, you might get your face right. The silver did not look like a top. It didn't look like a top, and it was not a top because it went higher. And yeah, silver's down today, but like, it is what it is. When I'm like yapping that whole time, my throat gets dry, and then I get excited, so I don't drink anything, and then my throat gets drier, and then I'm like in the middle of talking, and I just like crap out, which is just what I do right now. Yo, what's up, Bionic? How are you? Okay, I'm gonna take a look at Galaxy real quick, ASTS, and TSM real quick, and then we're gonna move on, guys. Man, I really want to. Yeah, this is the same thing with software, but yeah, those are two good companies. I'm not gonna lie, those are two good companies. All right, so I don't know, man. We'll see. You might even get a chance like next week. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with this market? All right. So let's take a look at just a few more charts left, and then we are going to move on. But real quick, guys, thank you very much for joining my channel. All 132 of you. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to be streaming on the Wolf Financial channel exclusively. I'm going to be cutting off the stream on my channel. So if you are on the Sam Badawi channel, go ahead over to what I have on the screen here, youtube.com/@wolf_financial, where I will be streaming there after I start cutting it off on the Samsolid channel. And if you are on Twitter as well, all you nice people that are on Twitter, welcome. You are very welcome here, but you're also welcome to the YouTube channel where you can go ahead and chat it up, where you can bash at me for, I don't know, shorting some stupid thing, or maybe you can like say like, hey, can I check out this chart? You're gonna get most of that through the YouTube channel. I could see it through X, but it's much more interactive on the YouTube one, so go ahead and check it out there. And there's lots of other great content on the Wolf Financial channel as well. You had Gab Blacksberg, which is the famous CEO of Wolf. He was able to ask Jensen Wong a question yesterday, so go ahead and check out that show while you're out there. So yeah, I'm gonna be cutting off the Sam Badawi streaming likely in the next couple of minutes here. And then to continue watching, you'll have to jump onto the Wolf Financial channel. So go ahead and check that out. I'll actually leave it on there. And let's take a look at a couple more charts here. So that was ASTS, that was Galaxy, and that was TSM. And it just does not want to load. TSM, I mean, the thing was on a crazy ripper. So what else is there to do here? The time to buy TSM was when it was at 278. I probably would not buy now, but you have like this pretty much resistance right here that used to be a resistance that'll probably act as support. So you usually back test it, because look, you tested it, broke down, tested it, broke down, tested it, broke through with volume. And then now it's probably coming back to back test it. So if I were to do something like this, I'd probably do it like around this 310 range. But I'm of course, not financial advice. I don't plan on doing it. Just my observation. AST Space Mobile. I mean, it was on a massive run, so it's going to, of course, do its thing. I mean, it's very hard to predict this one. This is This is a $31 billion company that makes very little revenue. So you got to be very careful with these ones. I was long this one, but back when it was like 28 bucks, then I sold it obviously too early, around like $60. So of course I missed out, but I'm good. I'm good. I still caught a big move. Rocket Lab is probably the same thing. That's probably down today. And Rocket Lab is down today. Just, I mean, this chart looks amazing, but at the same time, I would not buy this chart. And the last one was Galaxy. This one's going to move with Bitcoin, even though it's a Bitcoin miner, but Bitcoin miner turn into data center. But yeah, you're going to need to see Bitcoin come back for this thing to come back. So it really is all dependent on the crypto chart, and the crypto chart just does not, like, it just, I don't understand. But it is what it is, right? They're gonna keep on holding it down for whatever reason, and BMNR is gonna keep on chilling as it always is, All right, so I'm going to cut the stream on the Samsolid channel. If you want to continue watching, ladies and gentlemen, you have to go on the Wolf Financial channel that I have over there. So everyone who is on the Samsolid channel, hope to see you guys back on the Wolf Financial channel. If you're on the Wolf YouTube or the Wolf X, you can continue watching as always. So, all right, see you guys later. I'm going to continue now. All right, that should have stopped. All right, so let's continue on with the show. We have Anthropic, a whopping $350 billion company. That's pretty wild to think about. I mean, the thing was like less than $100 billion like about a year ago, about a year and a half ago. Now it's already $350 billion. But I don't know. Am I a bigger fan of Anthropic versus OpenAI? I think I prefer Anthropic better than OpenAI as far as a company goes, because they're a bit more. Is there really no sound? No way. I think I have sound. Yeah, I'm not on mute. Looks like it's all good. I see everything's good. Let me know if there's no sound, guys. Because actually, hold on. Now 2 people are saying I have no sound. Oh, crud. Hopefully you guys can hear sound. Anyways, we have the Anthropic news that came out this morning. Let me go ahead and share my screen over here. All right, so Anthropic raised another $10 billion, reaching a $350 billion valuation. What does this mean? I mean, that's just like a 3% increase. You know, I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it reached a peak all time per se, but I do think this momentum we're seeing in a lot of the private markets, I think it's slowing down a little bit. But if you take a look at this chart over here, as far as compliance first approach and tech first innovation, Anthropic is like basically leading in both of them. I mean, obviously you have DeepMind, you have Azure, and you have OpenAI. DeepMind is actually Google. Everyone knows about OpenAI and Azure. So Anthropic is actually one of the leading ones. And you know, Azure, you can't really value the model section of Azure or Microsoft Copilot or even DeepMind from Google. Obviously, you can value OpenAI, which I think is like $500 billion. So Anthropic's $350 billion. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. There's obviously a lot of investments on it, and you're a bit more. They're a bit more transparent in terms of like what they're doing, because of the fact that they have so many investments from all of the mega cap companies, or almost all the mega cap companies, other than just Microsoft with OpenAI and maybe a few other ones. But they're obviously expanding the infrastructure and they're seeing a lot of growth there. So that is good. That is good to see. But it still shows you that there's a lot of private money, especially $10 billion, which is a lot, that is willing to bet on AI, right? So the story is still there. The valuations are going to continue expanding, but I don't know if we're going to go from like a 3 times from here and like in the near term. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for that thing to play out. So that might stagnate a little bit. So that was some pretty interesting news to see. There was actually something else that came out today, which is very interesting. I will play it for you guys.
Yeah, Kelly.
It's a clip. Let me just make sure I'm sharing this sound here. This has more to do with the banning that Trump is doing for institutions. All right, one sec.
Kelly, the stocks of the owners of institutional owners of single-family rental homes have just been taking a huge hit because President Trump just posted on social media that record high inflation has pushed Americans out of the dream of home ownership, especially younger Americans. And he said, "It is for that reason and much more that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single family homes. And I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. I will discuss this topic, including further housing and affordability proposals and more, at my speech in Davos in 2 weeks." Now, the key in that statement is that he would need Congress to pass something like that. But it's important to note, large institutional investors, and the biggest names are Invitation Homes, American Homes for Rent, and Progress Residential. It should be known they own less than 5% of all single-family rental homes in the U.S. They are concentrated in certain markets, which can push buyers out in those areas. But the vast majority of rental homes are owned by small to mid-sized landlords, mom-and-pop shops. But again, you can see those stocks are taking a huge hit on that, Kelly.
Yeah, down 5-6%. So, Diana, this was a post on Truth Social. So We'll wait more detail. I imagine, I mean, private equity obviously has a huge component of this, and they've had a lot of, friendly policies from the administration, including things like changing who can access them, trying to get them into 401k plans and so forth. Nevertheless, this shows you the administration is doing anything it can. I'm sure it's had 30 different proposals for how it can lower housing prices. They've probably heard 50-year mortgage. We hear various reasons why that wouldn't make much of a difference. Build more supply. Well, I guess that's hard to do. Change the capital gains tax. Fine. They seem to be choosing, of all things, this one, and we'll see how much a difference that makes. But for these business models,
they're not necessarily choosing just this one, Kelly.
Right.
Look, they went after the builders in December, and you may remember that when he said that he was going to force the builders to build more homes, and he was calling them all to Washington to do that. And he did call many of the CEOs of the big public home builders. Their stocks took a hit as well on that. But then nothing came of it because they found, like, what could Fannie and Freddie, which is what he wanted them to do, what could they do to spur more home building? Not. They're in the mortgage market. So could you lower mortgage rates and get more demand, and that would help them build more homes? But again, it's all in the details. And right now, the details are very scarce. How would you get these large institutional investors to stop buying homes? It would take an act of Congress or something. But remember, these are very big companies with, very strong ties to the administration, especially when you talk about something like Blackstone, which owns single-family rentals.
Yeah, and by the way, we're showing shares of Rocket, Zillow, some of the mortgage companies higher. And I guess, Diana, what they perceive to be a potentially influx of retail demand into a market that, the institutions
I think that's a stretch.
Quote had. Yeah,
I would say that's a stretch.
Well, we'll see. Nevertheless.
That's actually pretty interesting. I really never thought about the other stocks rallying that way, but I mean, here's the problem, right? So you had 0% interest rates for about 2 years back in COVID. And obviously there are a lot of people taking advantage of these lower rates, but guess who was taking most advantage of these rates were these institutions that were just buying up homes left and right in random areas, and then they're renting out those homes. And basically, you've been seeing for the last 3-4 years, wow, it's 2026. So maybe like the last 4 years, you've basically seen them continuing to just buy these homes when they're a lot cheaper versus someone like the regular American family can't buy the homes because the rates are so high. Meanwhile, these large institutions, they can borrow money at very low rates themselves to buy these homes, or they have enough money to buy these homes. And it's kind of unfair because it's keeping the housing market up. So housing is technically not the stock market, but it kind of works like a stock, right? The more demand there is for a stock, the higher the stock goes up because people want to buy it at higher prices, right? That's how stocks are. People are willing to pay more for a stock. And the problem is that these institutions like Blackstone, maybe not so much Open Door, but I think the market just doesn't like Open Door, so they just keep selling it. But Blackstone just buys all these homes up, right? Because they can, and it just adds more to their assets, right? And they don't need to turn around and sell it for pennies on the dollar because they can afford to sit it all out until the housing market eventually does come back. But how does the housing market come back if it never goes down, right? And even worse, how do prices come down if Blackstone will buy thousands of homes at a 2% discount, where the average home buyer like ourselves, we're not going to wait for like a $1 million home to come down to $90,000-$80,000. Be like, okay, now it's time to buy a home, right? Like, no, we're going to be like, no, I want it at like 800,000, right? But Blackstone's going to buy it because they're buying so many that 2% discount over 1,000 homes makes a big difference to them, right? But for us, it's like we only want one home and we can't even do that, right? And it makes the average American suffer because what was the American dream for the last 50, 60 years? It was to get a job, get married, buy a house, have kids, retire, and get your pension, whatever it is. And that's it, right? That was the American dream. And believe it or not, a lot of people still want that, which is totally cool. The thing is that these institutions are kind of like taking all of the cake, right? They're not leaving any cake off the table. And I'm not like someone who's going to be like, oh, you institutions, you're so evil. But it's like, guys, chill out. Like, what you're not making it easy for us regular people. And this is the reason why the K-shaped economy continues to become more of a K, because you have the wealthier people who own shares in Blackstone, who are a part of Blackstone, continue to make money as Blackstone makes more money. And then you have the lower class get poor because they can't own assets because they can't afford it. So it's like, this is an ongoing problem. This isn't just with the homes. This is with everything in general. And that's the situation here. So how do I feel when I see the price of Blackstone drop 5%? Good. It should drop 5%. In fact, it should be worth less than $100 because it is not making it easier for the rest of us. But, I digress. I don't have any say in this, and I don't own Black stock, so I don't really care if it goes up or down. But sometimes like this, you look back in the recession we had in 2022, who got hurt the most from it? The lower and middle class got hurt the most from it. And who benefited from it? The upper class of people who own assets. And this is the reason why I keep buying stocks, because it's like, you're never going to win at we will not win at this game unless we all lose, right? There won't be a time where like the bottom side of the K is going to win this argument, is going to win this fight. The top either wins or we all lose. Okay. Why? Because the top control almost everything. So I don't know. That's how it is. You're just going to have to deal with it unless you become like a billionaire overnight, right? I mean, I don't know. Anybody know any billionaires out there? I'm sure some of you do, but I'm not a billionaire. So guess what? I'm just going to have to join the billionaires in their game. And I don't own hundreds of millions of dollars of stock, but hey, I could still buy Zeta at like $23. I could still buy, if I want to, I could still buy crypto at 90,000. I could still do these things. I'm not saying that I'm going to buy it right now. I'm just saying that like, this is the only opportunity we have unless you have enough money to buy a home, enough cash to buy a home. I'm fortunate that I do have a house in Los Angeles at a 2 3/4 rate. But I've been in the housing market for a while, but it was like, it's like one of those things where it's like, I should have bought Palantir when it was $20, and people probably looking back, it's like, oh, I should have bought a house instead of renting when rents were lower back then, and it is what it is, but there'll always be opportunities out there. And, I apologize on behalf of these major institutions that are just ruining for everyone, because it doesn't make it easy. And to be honest, being a middle class in Los Angeles, I may have a house, but trust me, it is not good for us either. So it's not that great. All right. So let's move on with the show. Hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, actually, I wanted to share this one because Mr. Chris Cruz-Line Patel shared this tweet over here. And I thought it was pretty interesting how he pointed this out, because it's actually going to matter. And here we go. So for everyone saying that getting institutional investors out of single-family homes won't impact affordability much, take a look at this. For post-Great Financial Crisis, which was like 2008, these areas saw swaths of properties bought by institutional holders and turned into rentals. Benchmarking against the national housing stock is not a fair comparison. Look at the concentration of rental homes being owned by institutional holders and tell me this isn't a problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one together. All right, so we have 3 columns here. We have institutional SFR share, single family rentals of all rental properties, which is very high on the chart. We have institutional single family rentals share of SFR properties. All right, so hold on a second here. Someone just messaged me real quick. Holy cow, there's 100 people on the Wolf YouTube Financial. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, if you are on X right now, join the Wolf Financial YouTube channel. You have a great time there. Trust me, I have a great time. And if you stick around, I might just serve free drinks to everyone. I don't know how I'm going to do it online, but I'll figure out a way to do it. Maybe I'll ship them for you, UPS or FedEx them. I don't know. Anyways, let's continue with the show. Appreciate all 100 of you on the Wolf Financial YouTube for showing up. All right. So we have single family share of all rental properties. All right. So in the first column, you have institutional single family rental share of all rental properties. Okay. So this is just all the rental properties in general. And you have institutional single family rental share of single family rental properties. Well, let me just digest that one for a little. I'm like, wait, what the hell did I just read? Let me just digest this one for a little bit. So you have institutional single family share of all rental properties, and you have institutional single family rental share of single family rental properties. Oh, okay. So this is basically saying that this is all the institutions that have their share of all the rental properties. And this is all institutions that have share of all the single family rental properties. So just rental properties, single family rental properties. So apartment buildings, homes that are being rented out. And then now you have single family share of all rental properties. So this is telling you the share of all the properties that are being rented out that are single family homes. All right. So homes, right? Something you'd see in like a residential lot. Okay. So let's take a look at the first column real quick. So the amount of institutional share of single family rental properties in all of the rental properties, that's apartment buildings and that's homes, right? So in Atlanta, Georgia, they got about 10%. In Birmingham, Hoover, Alabama, they got 5.6%. And you go across here, the ones that stand out like Memphis, Jacksonville, Florida, Indianapolis, Raleigh, North Carolina. It's very interesting. It's a big IT tech center. Total 20 largest MSA for SFR. What does MSA mean? Metropolitan Statistical Area. Okay, so that makes sense. All right, so now let's look at this institutional single family rental share of single family rental properties. We have 28%. So 28% of in 2021 and 2022. So this was like 0% interest rate, right? 28% of single family rental properties or homes that are rented out. Institutions own 28% of it, right? So this number is clearly very big. And then this one is saying that of all the rental properties, 35% of those are single family, right? So basically what this is trying to say is that they have like about 15% to 20% of all rental properties, institutional single family share. Yeah. So it's like 10%, but then they also have their share of the apartment buildings too. So about 10% of all rental properties is owned by institution. I mean, that's a lot, right? And I guess what Chris is trying to say is that it's going to impact affordability much. Because if you take out the 10% that's bidding on these homes in places like Atlanta, that means that people might not be able to sell their homes, or at least 10% of those homes will not be able to be sold to the buyer of last resort, which is institutions. And that means that they will have to reduce the price of their house. So unfortunately for Mr. Smith's family, they'll have to reduce the price of the house they're selling it for. But it also means that a family will be able to buy it at a cheaper price, which will bring the prices down, but also help out the average American family. What Chris is trying to say is that this is actually going to make a difference if this does happen. Now, the question is this going to happen? I don't know. If it does happen, as they're saying on the as they're saying in the clip, it's hard to say if it's going to happen, because when you really think about it, Trump tried to do this with those companies that basically build homes and sell homes, right? So you have like you have KHB, you have Toll Brothers, you have David Horton, all those places, and probably a lot more than that. And well, that didn't really work out. But if you look at like Blackstone and stuff, like these are very powerful companies, very large companies. I mean, if I take a look, let me go ahead and let me take a look at Seeking Alpha. And then I'm going to take a look at Blackstone. Let's see how much Blackstone is worth. His market cap is $200 billion. Like, that's like very difficult to fight a company like that. Very difficult to fight a company like that. Hold on. One sec. Oh, interesting. I am not shorting Micron. I bought the inverse Micron ETF the day of earnings, and I got my face ripped off the next day with a 10% move, and that was it. I got out of it. Yeah, I mean, It's very hard to say if this is actually going to impact that entire market. Like right now, like maybe it might, but it's not going to happen for a little bit, only because it's like these massive institutions, like you can't really fight them, right? They have these expensive lawyers, they have all these connections in the government, and like Trump can't just go in there and just change everything, right? That's going to take a little bit of time. But if this does happen, it'll certainly help, and it's certainly a step in the right direction. As far as the political stance, I mean, I got no say in it. Like I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm siding with this side. It's like, no, I just want the stock market to go up. So I'm not a Blackstone shareholder, so I don't really know how that's going to happen. But if it does mean helping out the little guy, I am always for that. I'm always down for helping out the little guy because I want everyone to be able to buy stocks, not just me, not just everyone watching, but like everyone to be able to buy stocks. So that'll of course make things better to collect risk assets so we can all become rich together. All right, so our last part that we're going to talk about is the Nvidia news. So we had, oh wait, I already talked about Nvidia news. Oh yeah, that's right. The last thing I want to talk about is BM&R. Wait a minute, I didn't even put it on there. I already took a look at Google and Amazon. All right, we'll talk about the defensive stocks after this. But I wanted to touch in this segment for MicroStrategy and BM&R. We have here BM&R is trading around the low of days. Actually, the whole market's fading, which kind of sucks because it was very good in the last couple of days. But yeah, this is like the thing, like, oh, I'm making so much money today. Great. Next day. Oh, I'm making so much money today. Great. And then you lose a little bit of what you won the previous day. And it's like, oh, man. But then you forget that you made it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I want the stock market to go up all the time, but to be realistic, it can't just keep going up all the time. In order to keep going up higher, you need to come down a little bit to make that move back higher. But anyways, I want to play this CNBC clip for you guys, which kind of talks about the news that came out yesterday. And I don't really need to go too deep into it, but it was just an interesting thing to watch on my own.
From MSCI, benefiting shares of Strategy this morning. Mackenzie Sagalos with us at Post 9 still, which is great, and has the story. So there's a lot of drama about this.
Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth, and we got a decision early, actually. Yesterday, MSCI took a near-term headwind off of the table for digital asset treasury companies, announcing that it won't, for now, remove crypto-heavy names like Strategy from its indexes. This was the overhang investors had been bracing for. MSCI had been weighing whether companies holding more than half their assets in crypto should be treated like investment funds, which are typically barred from its benchmarks. JP Morgan estimated that kind of exclusion could have triggered nearly $9 billion in passive outflows from Strategy alone if NASDAQ, Russell, and others moved in lockstep. But MSCI said distinguishing between operating companies and those that mainly hold tokens requires further research, so the door isn't closed, but the immediate risk is off the table. Now, index eligibility is the lifeblood of the digital asset treasury, or DAT model. Stay in the benchmarks, you benefit from passive flows and are less exposed to sudden forced selling. Remember, last year, these crypto treasury plays were one of the hottest trades in public markets. Everyone from Peter Thiel to the Trump family piled in. But since then, most have sold off sharply. Strategy's premium is gone. It used to trade at almost 4 times the value of its Bitcoin. Now you can buy the stock for less than the Bitcoin on its books. The company's also built a more than $2 billion cash reserve that did not exist until December to cover dividends and debt without being forced to sell its Bitcoin. So for Strategy and the broader DAT trade, a reprieve for now, but these names still face stiff competition from Wall Street, turning to those ETF-wrapped tokens, most notably Morgan Stanley, just this morning, filing an S1 for an ETF for Ether.
We noticed that, and pretty constructive week. Would you argue the momentum's behind Ether more at the moment because of its exposure to the financial pipelines?
Well, what's fascinating is that the names like Ether and Solana, where you can earn interest on the token itself, that's now finally possible within the context of an ETF wrapper. That wasn't the case when they first launched. So that is more attractive than those spot Bitcoin ETFs, which saw net outflows for nearly 2 months straight into the end of 2025.
Is there a rethink of Bitcoin? What's happening?
Well, I think that right now, so much of the institutional momentum started with the spot Bitcoin trade, but now you're seeing names like Morgan Stanley, BlackRock go down the list of altcoins and offer exposure to XRP and Solana. And XRP has actually been a silent winner. In Q4, when everything else was selling off, we saw institutional names pile into the XRP ETFs and buy the dip there, and that seemed to be a prescient move, that token coming up in the first week of the year.
Yeah, and I've seen some pretty aggressive targets for Bitcoin, I think, this week, 150K or so by year end. we'll see what it brings. There's certainly a lot of volatility that would lead you to alternative assets.
Yeah,
right?
certainly. But when you have finally the biggest corporate holder of Bitcoin showing some momentum, getting this positive decision from MSCI, I mean, that really restores confidence. In the spot Bitcoin ETFs, I will say this, coming back now that we have hit the new year, no longer tax loss harvesting going on. So we're starting to see some momentum return.
You know, they actually said at the end of that video that XRP was up 20%. I haven't even looked at XRP in a minute. Let me go ahead and check this out. Let's take a look at some crypto charts. Oh, the market closed. Like, this is why I don't do the market closes, because like sometimes I like totally miss it. I don't pay attention to that. We're getting a little bit of a bounce in crypto. I mean, I don't know. I thought I was going to go to 100K, but it has just been on a nasty fade since then. Look at this, just like lower lows, lower highs. I'm not trying to long this thing. I don't own BMNR or anything like that. I have my HODL crypto portfolio, but it's like just a couple of percentage of the portfolio. It's not really much. They said XRP is up 20%. Is it up 20%? I guess it was at the time of the recording the video. Yeah, it was up pretty considerably, and then it just faded almost the entire move. I mean, I don't know. What can you do? All right. So I think that is about it. I mean, I could touch on the Lockheed Martin news real quick before I sign off, but I already talked about Applied Digital for a minute. I mean, it's today. No way. Is it today? Is it today? Oh yeah, it is today. No, I'm not streaming it though. I don't even own Applied Digital, so I'm gonna chill with that one for a little bit. Yeah, they have earnings today. I don't know if they're gonna be moving around too much. The link to what? The link to the stream? Hold on. 1 sec. I don't know. Let me know if you want to come on, Evan. I'm about to sign off in a couple minutes, though. But appreciate all of you guys for being on here. Again, if you are on YouTube, join the Wolf_Financial on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate all 139 of you guys and ladies here on the Wolf YouTube channel. Join up, Tyler VG Green. What? Hold on. Let me just send him a link real quick. I think Evan wants to chime in and talk. All right. So let me just go over the Lockheed Martin stuff real quick, since that was actually very interesting to read that stuff. Hold on. Yeah, Lockheed Martin closed down. I think it closed down below 500. Yikes, it did. Man, I thought they were really going to buy that sucker up. They really didn't. I don't own Lockheed Martin, but that was pretty interesting. Let's see here. Yeah, Lockheed Martin is here at, whoops. Close. Okay, yeah, Lockheed Martin a massive red candle. If you look at this daily candle, Lockheed Martin, that's pretty wild. That is pretty insane. All right, let me bring up Evan here real quick.
Hello, my friend. How are we doing? How do I sound?
What's good? You sound pretty good. How are you?
I am doing well. I am excited to be here. Actively closing about 75 tabs because I had way too many open.
Oh, that's a lot.
Allegedly, this is what time the earnings should be out. So let me double check. My thing said 4:05.
For Applied Digital?
Yeah, so that might be moving right now. Stock initial move. Okay, no, it was up for a second there, but it's doing its own thing. I'll keep an update on that. But no, you were I saw like 140 people in here, and we're
yeah, no, there's a lot.
Chat.
There's a lot. It's really good. I'm really glad a lot of people are joining up. It's really cool to check out. Oh wow, Applied Digital is up 2%. Let me actually share this screen over here.
Yeah, put it up there. I did hear a little birdie, though, by the way, that Amit might be going live in 5, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So,
okay, so everyone can
everyone
hop in there. Yeah, no, I'll check
we'll
that.
give you guys a handoff.
Yeah, it's I mean, you already live in the Eastern time zone. I'm here in Florida, so it is 4 o'clock over here, and I
Dude, we
just
did a
I
little
flew.
swap. I'm in Vegas. It's 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. You are in Vegas. Okay, okay. So it is nice to have the market closed, and you basically have the whole day ahead of you. Over here, well, where you live in New York, but it's like the market's closing. It's like the day's over, and I'm like, what else am I gonna do right now? I got to hang out with my kids and stuff. And it's just already late in the day. So, but I guess that's why I like living in LA. But
By the way, STZ, just Constellation Brands. Also, I saw a chat. They did just report earnings, but they put a thing. Like what they said is
whoa.
the earnings is on our website, which normally takes 5-10 minutes or so to update. So that's going to actually be a little bit slower. It's STZ, but you
Oh,
should
I
see that
know what
moving in
you
a
mean.
second. It's up like 1%. Yeah. AbbVie also
Yeah.
said it is not in talks to buy Revolution Medicines. So RVMD, that stock pumped today off of that rumor that AbbVie was making doing it. Down
RVND.
RVM, as in Mary. D is down 13% in after hours, but still higher on the day. And AbbVie denied the report that came out.
Oh, that sucks. Oh man, imagine if you bought that rally. I mean, it's still up 15% unless that fades too.
I also got a note IMRX down 15% following its earnings, but again, it was up 20% today. So this is just a weird move on that name.
Yeah, this one is probably a low market cap. Oh my goodness. 500 million is probably just like one institution messing around there. All right, let's see what APLD is because a lot of people have that one.
I haven't quite
It's
seen the
about
numbers yet.
2%. Yeah, we'll see that with that one.
Okay, so I'm seeing Constellation Brands was $3.06, beating EPS of $2.64. Revenue was a small beat, 2.2 billion, beating expectations of 2.164 billion. That was ticker STZ. Sarah, Tango, Zebra, up 3%. Alcohol is what I was actually talking to one or two people like this is like their safer place and stuff. Imagine America will keep drinking. Yeah, Constellation Brands. I believe they own like Corona through the US. Be
Wait,
wrong.
is it Constellation Software or Constellation Brands?
Constellation Brands, STZ.
Oh, okay, so this is the one that started the whole Truly stuff. Or they own one of those brands, right?
They probably do, yeah. They also Constellation Brands a couple years ago bought, I think, spent $5 billion to invest in Canopy Growth, which was a weed company. And let's just say that didn't go well.
Oh.
President Trump put out another statement. I have been informed that by the Department of War that defense contractor Raytheon has been the least responsive to the needs of the Department of War. RTX,
Oh, my bad. It is RTX.
RTX down 2.5% in an after hours move there. We're getting
Oh,
some.
yeah.
President
He's
Trump
targeting
is
defense companies.
truthing out, tweeting out a lot today. This
Yeah,
guy,
he's
he's
targeting
going.
these defense companies. Honestly, a 4% move for Lockheed Martin is a lot. Like that does not happen often,
I
especially
will
it's like in the
say,
middle of the day.
no, go for it. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like from yesterday's high, it's down 8%. That's a massive move for Lockheed Martin.
Oh yeah, that's huge. It's fun. Iliano. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are Amit fans, a lot of Palantir fans. And Iliano was commenting on my post, talking about warp speed, how it's covered and cool stuff there. So I don't think this is negatively impacting Palantir, maybe even positively.
No, positively. They don't, and especially they don't give out dividends or buybacks, but they definitely have a reason to go into more of the defensive stuff with Barton Technology. Ondas has been on a crazy run lately. Took a little bit of a breather today, but I mean, this is a massive move from its recent lows all the way down here. It's basically up like 75%. I still remember seeing this thing at like $7. Crazy. But of course, everyone knows Rocket Lab. This is this has a little bit of a defensive play there too with the government. So this is definitely reaping a lot of those benefits. It's up more than double in just the last couple of months. So that's a really nice move to see on that one. We were talking about ASDS earlier too as well. Space theme. I would have to say if I were going to hold something long term, I'd probably hold Rocket Lab more than ASDS, mostly because Rocket Lab already has that revenue coming under its belt. ASDS, it's still, they still need to get that, all of those the blue something I forgot. They got to get all 65 of those satellites in outer space before they could have like the full spectrum of connectivity for a lot of the mobile phones. But I would even say the $31 billion company that a lot of that might be priced in at this point. A lot of that might be priced in. So we'll see.
I'm seeing Constellation Brands. They confirmed their fiscal year 2026 guidance. So not too much move on that
Oh,
one. Raytheon
actually, I see.
stock now down 3.5% in after hours after this post. This feels more like get your act together from them for
Uh-huh.
President Trump over to Raytheon than actually any impact coming out of it. But we shall
Yep.
see. What's the drink there? DC guy, you a Diet Coke
Uh,
guy?
yeah, I'm just drinking Diet Coke. Actually, this isn't even Diet Coke. This is like some store brand one because the bottle of Diet Coke was like, or the bottle of Coke Zero was like $5. This one was $1.50. So I'm like, all right, I'll save $3.50 and I'll lose hundreds in the portfolio like that very same day. Anyways, yeah, they came out with earnings. All right. So I think that is about it for me. Thank you very much,
There you go.
Mr. Evan,
Look at
for
this. It
joining
was
us.
perfect timing. Look at the last comment. Pun
Yeah.
intended. Amit is live. And Amit also has a special guest today who, if you guys listen to Stocks on Spaces, you'll know it might be the first time you see Mr. Stock Talk Weekly. Just saying. So I would.
Oh, well,
I hope I
actually, he
didn't.
was on there before. He was on
I
there
might have
before.
also just spoiled something. So please don't say in the chat that I said that. But I
Uh-oh.
hope he's on the stream. I don't know, man.
Uh-oh.
Let's hope I didn't wreck anything and he doesn't have a big
You
reveal.
might have wrecked it. You might
Do
have wrecked
not
it. Oh,
get
they're on
me
Vegas, though.
in trouble. God.
You should
Oh,
head
no,
over to wherever they're filming.
he's on the stream. He's on the stream. Yeah, go over. Shout out to Sam. You guys should make sure you're subscribed to the Wolf channel. But also, Sam is doing awesome stuff. Great live streamer. Also, great X account. It is. Let's get the X account because you change it every once in a while. It is Sam
Okay.
Solid
All
57.
right.
Go follow Sam Solid 57 on X. And
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
Sam, awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be up here. Amit is live, so
Thank
you guys
you.
want to go hang out over there? No, you're on vacation right now, doing this grinding. I
There's
wasn't
also such vacation in my life. There's also such vacation.
I know the feeling, dude. I know the feeling, but you're killing it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Evan, thank you for coming on. Follow Stock Market News. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already following him anyway.
And subscribe
That's
to
all
this
you're trying
channel.
to- yeah.
Maybe I'll come back here
All right.
if I
Sounds
ever get
good.
invited.
Talk to you guys later.